Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now a little lightweight news. Lightweight division could be one of the baddest divisions in boxing. It's just that the fact that people won't force these guys to fight each other or give them a WBSS tournament to make them get into the tournament and fight each other. We have too much of this, oh, I don't have to fight him, or this or that, even mandatories, which we'll get into. Anyway, Oscar De La Hoya, the Golden Boy himself, Golden Boy Promotions promoter, main man, in boxing, big, huge entity. He used to promote Canelo Alvarez on his way, ascension to being face of boxing. They split recently, but his biggest guy right now is Ryan Garcia, who hasn't been fighting. But Ryan Garcia is the kind of guy, he reminds me of Adrian Broner, Tyson Fury, and Amir Khan, where he will do other things to make sure he stays in the news. It's like one of those whatever guys, right? But Ryan Garcia has a fight coming up against Emmanuel Tagu, and so he'll be getting back into the mix. A lot of people think this should be a harder fight. Not really. This is an okay fight to come back. He's been gone for about 2 years now, damn near. So come on, get back in it. But Ryan is talking a good game. So anyway, Oscar De La Hoya was talking about his guy Ryan Garcia, and he was saying, hey, that fight against Devin Haney is a dangerous fight. They would rather go the route of having Ryan Garcia fight Kambosos, basically, for the unified championship, right? But Ryan Garcia is the mandatory for Devin Haney, which means if he fights Devin Haney, then I'm pretty sure it beats Devin Haney, then I'm pretty sure the world would force him to fight Kambosos for undisputed. But the point is, what I'm trying to say here is Oscar De La Hoya, his plan is, like he said, is to have Ryan Garcia fight Kambosos. And basically, we're the mandatory, but we're not going to fight Devin Haney. Those are badges of honor for Devin Haney. Now, like I always say, there's never any punishment for avoiding black fighters. There's only incentives for doing so. There's never any, punishment. You're the mandatory for Devin Haney, then you're out. If you don't want to fight him. And you can't go fighting everybody else and get props for it. But this is, Ryan Garcia is not the only one. We have the press, and it's funny because the word press has never pressured. They never pressured any of the fighters who didn't fight Devin Haney, and they refused to say Devin Haney is the main guy. They refused to. Now Lomachenko, who right now has bigger problems in the Ukraine, so we won't get on him too much. But most of this started with Lomachenko not fighting his mandatory, which is Devin Haney, and going to get the franchise title instead of doing so. And the press didn't force him to fight, right? So then won't force Ryan Garcia, who's his mandatory, Lomachenko. And they could have had an undisputed fight with Devin Haney. The press didn't force him to fight Devin Haney. They just started calling Teofimo Lopez undisputed. And they know it wasn't. I told you there should be lawsuits there. You can't do that. But they just do it because nobody's going to think about lawsuits. Right? Then, Teofimo Lopez, now Kambosos beats Teofimo Lopez. Right? After Devin Haney was begging Teofimo Lopez this fight for undisputed. He's like, I got to fight, who wouldn't go to Australia and fight in front of 60,000 people? Right? That was his excuse for not fighting Devin Haney. And then at the end of the day, he didn't even want to go to Australia to fight in front of 60,000 people. And he didn't. Then he got beat. Kambosos was talking about Devin Haney before his fight with Teofimo Lopez. Afterwards, he's not wanting to fight Devin Haney either for undisputed. Because the press, who won't pressure him, will call him undisputed, which they should get sued. Anybody that says that needs to get sued. Jojo Diaz, who did fight Devin Haney, but he fought an eliminator fight against Javier Fortuna because Ryan Garcia wasn't going to do that either. And then he was trying to fight Ryan Garcia, the guy who didn't want to have the interim fight that he had, instead of fighting Devin Haney, who his fight with Javier Fortuna was to decide who was going to fight Devin Haney. Now, this is too much avoiding of Devin Haney, and there should be punishment for it, but there isn't. Now, Devin Haney says something that I think is incredibly profound. And this goes for everyone involved: press, fans, boxers. They say everything to or about Devin Haney except let's fight. Right? So once somebody come in, even the people that's going to answer this video or something, if somebody comes in, the 4 people come in here, 2 of them might going to be, one of them might come in and just say Lomachenko's the best or something like that. I'm Lomachenko is the best, or Ryan Garcia doesn't need him, he has more followers or whatever. They won't say, I want my guy to fight your guy and I'm going to push for it. The fans won't do that. The press won't say Devin Haney's the baddest one because we know that no one will fight him. They won't do him, and the fighters won't tell Devin Haney, let's fight. Notice that. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.